Hello, world. This is Mark Sabertooth Tiger Hansen coming to you live from my living room. Which, though I think I'm going to do a name change, a rebranding. You know how like 2 Chainz used to be called Titty Boy, and he changed his name to 2 Chainz, and had the success of his life. So maybe I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to change my name just to Tooth. Just Tooth. That's it. So Mark Tooth Hansen coming to you live from my living room. And I'm coming here to speak a little bit about, some changes in my life and some things that's gone on, because it's been quite a bit of time since I've been on here and actually in this capacity. And I just, had some awakenings with a friend of mine recently that brought me to a point where I started to think, I need to bring back my online presence. I need to do a lot of different things. Particularly, I had a conversation with a friend, an ex, I don't know what you would call her, me and her, we've been around each other for 15 years, great friend of mine, I will say that. And she basically came to me and had a heart-to-heart with me and told me about our relationship and how it was good, but I was like dropping the ball on my end, essentially. And how I had basically caused her to almost hate me at one point. I don't want to say hate me, but have some resentment towards me, and because of certain things I was doing and certain things I wasn't taking care of. And she basically, one of the big things she basically hit me with was, how do you expect somebody to love you, or you to even care or have anybody in your life that cares about you, if you don't care about yourself? And that hit me so hard, because I do care about myself and I do love myself. I do think about myself. But I guess I don't show it enough because I don't take care of the things that everybody else in society deems as taking care of themselves or taking care of the things. I don't show discipline in certain things. And I can definitely agree with that. It kind of hurt because I thought that, in my mind, just being who I wanted to be was enough. But then I also started to realize that, yeah, it might be enough for you, but it's not enough to make or for the people around you to feel comfortable, or at least feel welcome, or in the very least feel like you're okay, if that makes sense. So with that being said, I started to take note of what some of the things she said and things I need to really start doing, because I started realizing that part of that is me, self-help, certain changes that I need to take in my life. Some of you already know I've actually, over the last year or so, 2 years ago, I actually had a surgery, bariatric surgery, which, by the way, a year ago I had that surgery, and within the year I lost 100 pounds, so yay. Did good there. There's a lot more to go. I still want to lose another 100 pounds at least. And I've done pretty well with it, but it's not great. And I fell back a little bit, I'm not going to lie. And that's basically on me, because I actually had another thing that popped up where I actually started to realize that the weight situation and things that has been going on in my life wasn't just about the physical. Turns out there was a lot of mental things that need to be dealt with as well. It wasn't just my physical health that was in danger, it was my mental health. And while I won't just blame it on my finances or my career path, I think a lot of it had to do with the hopelessness of the career path and the things that I was in. So I made a bunch of changes, business-wise, as well as, financial-wise and career-wise. I stepped away from the corporate ladder. I'm no longer doing corporate or communications jobs or on the phone telecommunication jobs. And I actually started to get a career with a CDL. Took me 6 months to get my CDL, which put my finances in the dump for a minute. But I finally got it, and I am now a truck driver. And personally, I'll just be honest, I think that was the best career move I've ever done in my life. And the reason I'll say that is because for my mental health, I've come to a point where I'm okay with being with me and having to talk with me and having people interact with people on my terms, not necessarily on the terms of a company or anything like that. So I am very at peace with my career change, and it's great to just have to hop in a truck and just go. I know what my job is. I don't have to mess with anybody else. It's just me in the road. It's great. So it's been the greatest thing for me. It's been about 6 months I've been doing it. A little shaky with the whole winter thing. I made a lot of money during the winter because of, there's a lot of work, but at the same time, there was a lot of layoffs and times where it didn't work because there wasn't, work to do. But now that it's picking up, it's doing great. It's, making a couple grand a week is beautiful. But with that being said, now that I'm on the up and up, things are getting better. I got myself back in the gym, working out, getting back to getting in shape, getting that physical health in, mental health, all that kind of stuff is working out. So I've also started to think I need to get my internet presence back online. I've stopped, communicating. And a lot of people, I know a lot of you have probably paid attention to my posts and assume I've been going nuts and saying things that maybe you didn't understand I felt like before, or maybe you think that maybe I'm all on the hinge of things that I'm thinking, because the unfortunate thing about texting, the reason I don't like texting, reason I don't like posting or things like that, things can get misconstrued because of the simple fact that it's just a blurb or a piece of your conversation or your understanding. And even if you flesh it out, most people only read like a couple. They won't read full paragraphs. They may read like a couple sentences and think, "Oh, hot topic." That's what they mean by that. So there's a lot of things I've said that I'm going to address in some of these posts that I do from here on. But I also just want to start talking and having conversations about things and, mental things that I've started to understand at the age of 40 and things that I've started to learn. And things that have always hit me hard and go, made me think. Because they may make you think. They may help you out. Maybe you're younger and this is something to help you out. Maybe you're older, but at this point you're lost or something like that. And it also helps me as like a mental diary to be able to just, blah, and then I can have conversations with people, which, by the way, understand, I don't have any problem. Like, I think somebody asked me one time, did I erase their comment? No, I didn't. We do have an algorithm on Facebook and a lot of things that if you say negative things or say something that they don't like, they will delete it. It has nothing to do with me. It just happens. I've had my comments deleted on certain things. I remember there's one time I actually spoke on somebody who had a bad child, and I said, I would spank the hell out of that child, blah, blah, blah. Got blocked, sensitive, and got turned off. I actually got turned off on Facebook for a while. They wouldn't let me post. So it happens. Personally, I don't really block anybody who says anything on my timeline. I don't respond to some ignorance. And sometimes, if it gets too bad, if it's like a long stream of just ignorance and you're cursing me out or saying something that I don't want to hear, I will delete it. Because just so anybody understands, Facebook is not a place. I know we have these young kids and these people who think, oh, this is a place where we can discuss and talk and da-da-da, because you can't do it in person with people. And that's sad, because you can't have the same conversation that you would have unless you're behind a computer in a safe place. That's another note. But anyway, that's a side note. But the reality of it is, if I post something on my page, that's on my page. If you don't like it, you don't have to go on my page or look at it. That's really it. But there are some things I will address, because I think people got it misconstrued about a lot of things I said and just assumed I was either this way or that way, or don't believe this or have this type of way of thinking. But there's a lot of things that maybe you didn't understand about me that I think about that are deeper. So I'm going to address some of those things. But today I want to address or speak on a quote that I learned in a business group I had a few years ago that always has stuck with me and means so much to me, especially being an African American in this country and going through a lot of things and different changes. And that quote is, success has no sympathy for the validity of your circumstances. Now, I want you to hear that again and think about that. I'm going to say it slower. Success has no sympathy for the validity of your circumstance. At first, I almost felt offended by what it was saying when I first heard it. But as I started to really dive into it and really think about it, that's a true fact. Because success is a thing that you are or you aren't. Successful as you are or you aren't. You can't go to somebody and complain. I remember being around people who used to complain about, I was in a business group, and I used to have friends who were part of the group with me and things with me, and we would do something or set a goal or set something up, and people would miss their marks or people wouldn't be on time, and I would miss my mark and be on time. This is not saying something wrong about somebody else, but in the midst of doing that, a lot of people would, when they couldn't meet whatever standard or meet whatever goal, there was always somebody who would come to me or somebody else who set up the standard and complain and say, but this happened and or blame it on something and say and expect that the goalpost would be moved for them. And this is neither here nor there, not trying to say yet your excuse wasn't valid or anything like that, but here's the reality of it. In life, you can't go to God and say, please, hey, God, I only have one leg. Can you move the goalpost for me and say that I could run a lap or, win the 400-meter race? That's just not reality. God's not going to change that. He can't change everything just for you. Like, time can't change. If you're late for an interview, if you're 30 minutes late for an interview and you were supposed to be there at a certain time and you didn't make it, you can't be mad if you didn't make it because you weren't successful in doing what you were supposed to do because of whatever your situation was. Even if it was like, an accident. Now, yes, there are some circumstances where people will move and say, we'll fix it for you, or, oh, I understand that. But you have to, in your humility and humbleness, you have to understand that success of doing what you say you're going to do is based on you just doing it. It's not based on you having an excuse of a reason why you couldn't do it. Because everybody has an excuse for something, or there's always something that you can't do. But success is not going to change or move the goalpost because you had an interruption or something that happened. It's just not going to happen. And that's just reality of life. In my opinion, I think a lot of kids in this world right now, with a lot of the shootings and a lot of things that are going on in life, if we taught this from the age of 5 early on, people would live a lot longer and be a lot more stress-free and understand that, hey, if you want something, you got to work for it. And if you don't make it, it's not somebody else's fault or this fault. You have to take responsibility of what you've done or what your situation is. Not saying that maybe you don't have a valid reason for certain situations, but that maybe you weren't able to get that done because of the situation. But the reality of it is, we can't change that situation and then expect you to now get it done. It just is what it is. And I think that's hard for hard pill for people to swallow. Especially, like I said, this is huge for me being an African American in this country, knowing all the struggles that we have to deal with and things that we have to go through. And I always wanted to blame, but this is the problem, that's the problem. And there are a lot of problems and a lot of issues, not knocking that or saying that they don't exist. But at one point I had to start saying, well, where is my responsibility in this? And when am I going to take responsibility for that? And when am I going to not allow all the drama and all the other things that are around me that might affect others to affect me? So, again, I bring back the quote, success has no sympathy for the validity of your circumstances, meaning success does not care about the truthfulness of your issues. It doesn't care, that you have 2 kids before the age of 25. So it's harder for you to actually, become a business person. I get it, but you had kids. So now you got to figure another way out. That's it. And I know people are saying, well, you don't have kids, so you can't say that. Well, I'll change it and put it on my end. I can't be mad at the world that I didn't become a football pro if I didn't work my ass off and lose all the weight. I can't be mad that I had some health issues before 40 because I did this to myself. And success in changing the things that I want to change and making the things right that I want to make right, I can't go to life and say, well, listen, I had my sister die, my father died, cousin died, one of my best friends died in the last 10 years of my life. All this stuff happening, I was just going through depression. Great. And yes, I have some sympathy for you as a person, but success is not going to say, okay, well, you had all those things happen, so we're going to give you a break. That's just not how life works. I think some people really don't. We've gotten into a society where people really think like you can talk your way out of everything, or you can, explain everything away. When the reality of it is, there are some things that are just true and just false. That's just it. There are some things that are real and some things that just aren't. And one of the things that are real is to get where you want to get, you might have to sacrifice some things. To do what you want to do, you might have to do some things you don't want to do. You might have to get uncomfortable. Frankly, you might have to wake up and realize that, the things that you really want probably aren't meant for you because you just don't have the capability or the, your situation isn't right for you to do that. Your circumstances aren't right. Because again, success has no sympathy for the validity of your circumstances. Because success, if you want something, you can't then go say, hey, well, I want this, but I have all these issues, so I can't do it. Well, then if you want it and there's a way around it, then you need to go get that. But if there's no way around it and it's just straightforward that you can't get it because of this one issue, then it might not be for you. Success, you got to go get what success means to you. Might not be what somebody else's success is, but whatever success is for you, whatever you want, don't use an excuse for not making it. Because it's not that problem or that issue, it's not its fault that you didn't make it. Take some responsibility. It's yours. And I've had to realize that about, again, my health, my weight, and even my career and my finances. And a lot of people, I've lost some friends. I've lost a girlfriend. I've lost all kinds of friends and people recently just because I don't take no crap anymore. I tell people exactly what I want, exactly what's going on in my life, exactly how I feel. Some people think I'm going to change or I'm going to think, but no, I've gone through life trying to navigate life and trying to say, okay, this needs to change it. No, I know what success is. I know what I want. And if it's not going to fit within the parameters of what I'm trying to do to be successful, then it's not for me. Because again, success has no sympathy for the validity of your circumstances. Because success does not care about the circumstances that are around you. If you can't get to where you want, it's not because of the issues around you, because you got a boot on your leg because you got hurt. It's not because of this. It's not because of that. It's because of you. You take responsibility and you need to figure out how to get to where you want to get. And once you figure that out, work as hard as you can to get there and stop using excuses from blocking it. So that's all I wanted to talk about. I know it just got dark in here, really weird. I don't know why my camera did that. But, yeah, that was my talk today. I don't know if that helped anybody. I know this is probably long. I know this might not actually get anybody's attention because it's so long. But if you do like what I'm speaking on, please go on my YouTube page, like and subscribe. I'm going to start doing this weekly. I'll probably start trying to do this even more, twice a week or something like that eventually. But I just got a lot of quotes and a lot of things I want to talk about. And hopefully you stick around. And yeah, love you guys and talk to you soon.